What's up, photo freaks, and welcome to What's in Your Bag. Today we have with us photographer and retired Vietnam vet, Ed Wein. Ed was a military photographer and been a photographer for a long time. Ed is I can tell you this, Ed is one of those people that you meet and you ask yourself, how the heck has his work not been discovered, or how is it not more popular? It just hasn't been put out there. So I'm bringing in Ed for the show because I look at his photography, I'm amazed by it, and I want to share it all with you, and you guys can all get some useful tips. So Ed, welcome to What's in Your Bag. How you doing?
Thank you, Matthew. I'm happy to be here.
All right. Well, why don't you start off by telling everybody a little bit about yourself and your photography background from the point of conception.
I've always had an interest in photography ever since I can remember. But when I was around 12 years old, I went to Yosemite and I went to the Ansel Adams Gallery, and I looked at his prints, and they were just really striking. But one of them in particular, I don't know how much time I spent looking at it, but it was a long time. And I said to myself, this is what I want to do. And this is what I want to do to other people. I want to have this reaction. I want to give them the feeling I'm feeling right now looking at this photograph. So that's how it started. And after that, it's just every chance I got, I took pictures, in
Nice.
school and everything. And I got drafted in '67 and joined the Air Force instead of having to be in the Army or so, and was lucky enough to be a photographer.
Now, I'll interrupt here for a second.
Yeah.
You have a pretty interesting story, and we're not going to go into your Vietnam experience, but I do want to ask you your funny story of how you actually became the photographer in the military.
Well, when I signed up, the recruiting sergeant said, "Oh yeah, you'll be a photographer for sure," which was nonsense. And in basic training, when we were all done, we're all sitting on the floor waiting our assignments, and the training instructor said, "Who wants to be a photographer?" I raised my hand, and
You got pretty lucky. You lucked out.
Yeah, I did luck out, and so I was able to pass the bypass test, so I didn't have to go to school or anything, and went right to my assignment at Edwards Air Force Base, and it was great. I got to fly and take pictures from planes and of planes, and the rocket propulsion lab, and their lab there, and did all kinds of fun stuff, But
Rest is history.
yeah, the rest is history.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
Okay.
But after I got out, I knew that's what I wanted to do. I didn't think I could make it as a fine art photographer, because that's really tough. So I just started doing whatever came to me, and it turned out to be mostly product photography. And I made a career of it.
Well, your work is pretty dang amazing.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So what we're going to do then, without further ado, is get into some of your photos.
All right.
And let's start off. We got your photos here with you, and people will see this on the screen, and you'll hear our voices as we talk about each of these. Let's start with this one here. When was this taken? Was it a while ago?
Yeah, quite a while ago. It's probably 15 years ago, around then. So,
and what did you shoot? What did you use to shoot?
This was with my first DSLR. It was a 20D, a Canon 20D, and it took great photos. It was good, it was a good camera, but I wanted a full frame sensor camera, so.
Well, beautiful. I love this shot. All right, let's go on to another one. This one here. I believe this is also Alcatraz?
Yes, it is. This one was on the tour in Alcatraz, and this is actually the only photo I shot there. Everything else was just so grim, even for me. And this was the hole. This is, you see the movies where they throw the prisoner in the hole, solitary confinement. Well, this is it. And the seagull feather on there is what caught my eye, and
it was just sitting there all on its own, right?
Yeah, it was just waiting for me.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
Once again,
good timing on that one.
Yeah.
Too.
Again, this is 20D.
Okay. All right. This is a gorgeous shot. It's little brings me back to some Ansel Adams style going on here.
Yeah.
Tell us about this shot and what you use.
My love is landscapes. That's where my heart is, and I did product photography to pay the bills, and when I could get away, I shot landscapes. This is off of 395, Highway 395, somewhere near Mono Lake. I don't recall where, because I saw this, pulled the car off the road, got out my tripod, my 4x5, and shot this. This is actually shot on Polaroid PNP, which you get a regular Polaroid print plus a negative.
Oh, wow.
And you have to immerse the negative right away in a clearing bath, or kind of a fixer solution, and leave it there till you get back to your darkroom and finish the process. And they're very fragile, so
such a beautiful shot. I love how the clouds look so stormy.
It's great. I mean,
yeah, what can you say, right? It's breathtaking. Again, downplaying it. Look at you. It's amazing. Okay, so let's see here. Let's go to... You have so many good shots. All right, let's go to this one here. I love this.
This was the same trip. This is Mono Lake, and this is about 40 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
It was the same trip as the previous photograph, and this was shot with a wide lux, a rotating lens, 35 millimeter camera, but the negative is almost 2 inches wide, so it's not a wide angle lens, but it shoots a panoramic, and it's a great camera. But anyway, again, it was just a gorgeous day, and it was just beautiful, and
it's so clear. It looks like you took it like yesterday. That's what amazes me with what you the equipment that you use.
Well, this is film, and I don't argue between film and digital. They're like using two different paintbrushes. So they're both about getting the image, creating images, and you use what the tools that you enjoy using.
Get the most out of it.
Yeah.
What time of day was this at? Was it golden hour? Or?
No, I don't think so. I don't recall.
Okay. Yeah, it was a while ago, so I don't blame you.
I sat there for quite a while waiting for, there's a path on the right-hand side, and waiting for that to show some light. And
nice.
The sun was just happened to catch it a little bit, not enough to dramatically light it, but just enough to reflect a little bit. I probably burned it in too in the darkroom.
Wow, I love it. All right, let's go on to another shot. Okay, this one, just so many good shots, so many to choose from. All right,
this is Fort Point in San Francisco under the Golden Gate Bridge. It's a Civil War fort, and it's all brick, and this is the top floor, which is the most interesting. And this was shot with a Noblex, which, like the wide lux, is a rotating lens camera, and you get a very large negative. It's almost 4 inches wide, so the results are always stunning. And
I remember you said you had to do a little work here for waiting it to clear up then, huh?
Well, yeah, like a lot of things. There were people walking around, so I had to kind of wait till there was no one there. And
God, the light on it is so perfect.
Well, lighting is everything. I mean, with the pictures you've seen so far, it's all about light. And if the light had changed, it would have been a completely different picture. So, landscape photography, you do a lot of waiting and a lot of hoping.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so on the next one, I want you to pick the last shot. What do you want to talk about?
Guess I'll go with this one.
All right. This is definitely.
This is in Japan, and this is a tree trunk, and I just was taken by the texture and the lighting, of course, and part of it is visualization. You see it in your mind, in your eyes, in your mind, and then that's when you take out your camera.
Yeah.
I don't search through the viewfinder for a picture.
Yeah. It definitely takes a photographer's eye, and you obviously have it.
Yeah. It reminded me of dinosaurs, legs, tromping around. I mean, that was something that came to my mind.
I love it
when I was printing it.
You know what? That's actually what the viewers want to hear. They want to know what the photographers are thinking when they see something. So that's really, really cool.
Well, in this case, I did. That was a thought. Some of the previous landscapes is just you're just taken with the beauty, the how and the majesty, and what it does to your mind and heart. So
perfect. All right, so now we're going to go on to the rapid fire questions session, which is not necessarily always rapid fire, but we try to.
May not be rapid fire.
Yeah, we try to go through them quickly because YouTubers are pretty impatient.
Yeah.
But you have so much information to share. That's very valuable. So I'll go ahead and fire off a few questions for you. So the first one. What is your most often used accessory?
Oh, gee. Well, gosh.
Oh, you brought it with him.
Yeah, well, it's actually this guy. This I've used a bulb blower for a long time, but it's become much more valuable since I switched to a mirrorless camera, and the sensor's exposed when you change lenses, so
nice.
It helped to get rid of that.
Very good. Good tool. All right, so do you prefer available light or artificial? If you had to choose one.
Probably available light, yeah.
All right. What's your favorite lens?
I'm a wide angle guy.
Okay.
So depending on the camera, I like a wide lens. 21 is millimeter is what I use a lot, somewhere in there, sometimes wider.
Prefer DSLR or mirrorless?
Well, I just switched from DSLR to a mirrorless. So
I get that question asked a lot. A lot of people are stuck in DSLR, so it's always good to hear. All these pros are switching to mirrorless.
Well, I wanted a smaller, lighter kit. That was the main thing. I really didn't have any issues with my DSLR. And it took me a long time because I wasn't sure. I've been using reflex cameras all along, where it was a Hasselblad or a Nikon film camera or a Canon DSLR. I'm always looking through the pentaprism, through the mirror, seeing that bright image. I didn't know if I could work with a mirrorless, but it's working out so far.
Nice, good choice. Is there anyone in your line of work that you, whether it's when you were just starting out, that you looked up to or that you really admire, a photographer?
Well, it's got to be Ansel Adams.
Which is evident in your work.
Well, his work is just like so many other people. It just, inspires me. And
ever crossed paths with him?
I met him once, very briefly, at a concourse, automotive concourse.
Oh, nice.
And I was just able to tell him how much I admired him, and that was about it. I always wanted to take one of his workshops, but it never happened. I was busy working.
Very cool. Okay, so all these aspiring photographers out there, what's one piece of advice you could give them?
Well, when you're taking pictures, slow down. Use your eyes.
Pretty good advice. Slow down. That's
and use your eyes, and the camera is just an instrument, a great instrument. But
All right. Slow down, people. I like that. I have to tell myself that sometimes.
there are situations where that doesn't apply. If you're shooting events, sports, that's
Right, of course.
that's not the case. But you have to take the time to know your equipment, so it's second nature. It's part of you.
All right, so last two of my favorite questions here.
Okay.
If you could go anywhere in time, anywhere in the past, any events, it doesn't matter if it's dinosaurs or parting of the Red Sea, wherever, where would you go to take a shot, and what equipment would you bring?
Jeez, that's a interesting question. Yeah, I don't know. I would say I'd want to see them finishing the pyramids.
You know what? Wow.
And I don't know. I think I would bring a current mirrorless or digital camera, so I could, wouldn't have to worry about my film getting baked, or it's probably a pretty bad environment.
Yeah. And what lens?
Well, something like that, maybe a little longer lens.
Yeah.
But I still would have the wide angle.
Right.
Still
Still keep your wide.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Pyramids. I love it. That's a great answer. So the last question and the theme of the show, sir. What's in your bag? What do you carry with you, and what are you shooting with now?
Oh, my bag.
He's actually going to pull the bag out. I love it.
I have my new Sony mirrorless camera with a 35mm on it.
Oh, that's the
The
R3?
Yeah, the R3.
And it's got the 2.8.
Yeah, I just got this recently, and I'm still learning. And I haven't had time to do too much. Let's see, okay, hold on a second.
Oh yeah, you got another lens there.
Yeah, I do. I have a couple.
I think I've seen these lenses.
This is a Voigtlander 15. Is it a 14 or 15? 15 millimeter, and this is an M mount lens, which needs an adapter to work with the Sony, but this particular lens works well. A lot of M lenses do not, and I have a Leica as well, so I was trying to use some of those lenses.
How'd the Leica perform on it?
Oh, it was great on the Leica too. I mean, it's a pretty neat lens. It's a little wider than I usually use. I'm gonna get a 21, but I haven't figured out what yet. I got this fairly recently. This is pretty strange.
Yeah, what is that?
It's a 50 millimeter Voigtlander lens. They make some cool lenses. It's a real old lens formula. It's real simple. It's slow. It's a 3.5. It's a 50 millimeter. It's pretty small. This is all the adapter here, but it's extremely sharp, and it draws really nice. I mean, it has nice tonality. Everything looks real good. The bokeh and the autofocus stuff looks great. And I think I have one more. Yep, I do.
Oh, it's got another one.
Yeah, and there's more. 90 millimeter Emirate Leica lens.
And all these work with the adapters on your Sony, right?
Yeah, they work. This one is a little soft, wide open, but stop down is pretty good. If I can figure out how to put the lens shade on.
That's beautiful. Some really, really nice lenses.
Thank you. So,
well,
that's it for now.
Ed, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ed Wein. I just want to thank you for sharing all that with us.
Sure.
If you want to get a hold of Ed, it's going to be pretty tough. So I would just suggest leave some comments below in the YouTube video, and I can pass on the information. I don't think you have an Instagram or anything.
Nope, I don't.
But if you're interested in his work for any reason, leave us some comments. I can pass on the info to Ed. I still really think he should be showcasing his work. He's got a lot more beautiful images that just are unseen by everybody, and I think they need some exposure. So
Thank you, Matthew.
you're welcome. Thanks for giving us some of your time, sir. And everyone out there, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next What's in Your Bag.
Thank you, YouTubers.